everyone. Today we will be unboxing another figurine for the week. Here we have is a figure from the manufacturer Sentinel. It's a figurine part of their figure museum line. It's a 1/8 scale PVC figure of the character Joseph Higashikata from the series JoJo's no Kimio na Boken, Diamond wa砕けない, or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable. As always, before we take the figurine out of its packaging, just in case you didn't know, JoJo's no Kimio na Boken, or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, is a manga series serialized in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump in 1987 by the mangaka Hirohiko Araki, who's also worked on other series like Gorgeous Irene in 1980s, Henjin Henkutsu Retsuden in 1989, Mashonen BT in 1983, but is mainly known for his work on the JoJo series. The JoJo franchise consists of 9 parts, all starting from Phantom Blood in 1986, Battle Tendencies in 1987, Stardust Crusaders in 1989, Diamond is Unbreakable in 1992, Vento Audio or Golden Wind in 1995, Stone Ocean in 1999, Steel Ball Run in 2004, JoJolion in 2011, or the most recent, The JoJo Land, in 2023. This figure being the main character of Part 4 that was published in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump in 1992 by the same mangaka Hirohiko Araki. The series does have a couple of spin-off mangas and novels, but just to save on time, I'll just show you a quick brief picture on the screen here. The series also has an anime adaptation by the same name, released in 2016 by Studios Davis Production, consisting of 39 episodes. There's also an OVA spin-off based on one of the characters, Rohan Kishibe, which was released in 2017 by the same studios, David Productions. So here we have is Josuke Higashikata's box, rotating in 360. So, without holding you guys back, so let's just take Josuke out of his packaging and see how he looks. So here we have is Josuke Higashikata straight out of his packaging, and we can see here something that I also did want to mention, that the base is actually on the top. A little bit weird from what we've seen on other bases than when they're normally at the bottom. But regardless, we have his Josuke wrapped with plastic, protecting the figurine, and actually pretty well kept. So let's just remove all of this excess plastic and see how the figurine looks up close. So here we have is the figurine's base, and just like we see with other figurines here at the bottom portion, we do see here is information for the figurine, such as like the series' name and other info at the bottom. On the top portion of the base, we do see here is the figurine's line, JoJo Figure Museum, etched here at the bottom. And we can kind of see here, there's not really too much else to show you here at the bottom of the base. Basically, all the inserts that we see on the top portion here sticking out from the bottom, and that's about it. So here on the top portion of it, it actually is painted quite well. We can see it's actually representing a gear, or a gear. And I think this design is to connect the other JoJo figurines that they have in the line, since they have part 1 all the way to 4, and I think their most recent one is part 5. But we can see here, this isn't actually a black line, but it's actually like an indent where you see depth where it falls into the base, where you can kind of see there's actually a little bit more of a sculpt down there rather than just a plain black line. And here we have is the 2 little metal inserts here on both of the sections there where you connect to Josuke's shoes. But besides that, there's not really too much else to show you. I think the paint looks pretty nice. It's just a, kind of a dark gold base. A little bit reflective, but not too much. So let's just move on to the figurine. So here we have is Josuke Higashikata's figurine. So just like we do with every other figurine we get, we're going to be taking a closer look here, starting from his shoe area. What we do see here we have is his typical, school uniform that he has, and during that time period when this figure or this anime was created, I believe this was like the kind of like the delinquent wear that they tend to wear when they're like in school. So I know it kind of looks a little bit dated, but it's still a pretty nice looking uniform. We see here at the bottom they gave it a little bit of a glossy finish, and we do see here we has the inserts where it connects to the base here, one on his front toes and one in the back heel of his other foot. I think the person who sculpted it is Shintaro Takahashi, which so far I think the sculpt work looks actually really nice. You see here on his shoe area where you see he's a little bit bended, where he's kind of like a little bit in like a pose where his foot's a little bit upwards while his other one's more flat. Here we have is the pants here where he kind of has like a baggy look, which I think they did a pretty nice job in the sculpt, and I think the paintwork looks really nice as well, where they kind of shaded it in more of the areas where it creases. It's kind of shaded more darker compared to the other areas where it's a more lighter dark bluish color, which looks actually really nice. Going up to his leg portion here, we do see here he does have a little bit of sculpt underneath his uniform there, but it's a little bit hard to see because of my lighting. But he does have a little bit of sculpt underneath there, but it's not really you can't really see too much into it, so it kind of ends off midway. And it's a detail that I've seen some figurines do. I know there's some companies that kind of cut off like towards the leg portion of it, but it's still appreciated that they did that. I'm certain it's only sculpt of the leg, but because he has kind of baggy pants, you kind of don't really see too much at the bottom. But you can kind of see here his top uniform is actually quite pressed up against him. It's a little bit like flappy in some areas, but you kind of see here it's actually quite like tight on him, where you can kind of see his waist. So here we have is one of his hand sculpt, which is kind of resting kind of like near his pelvis area, or I think it's his leg. Yeah, I think it's his leg. And here we kind of see here the sculpt work like actually really nice, where you kind of see they added a little bit of tendons by his front hand there, and his palm at the bottom looks actually nicely detailed as well. And I think this is the hand sculpt where you connect his I think it's his messenger bag or his suitcase, well, his school bag, where he's holding onto it from the side there. So here we have his uniform on the back, where the buttons look actually really painted quite nicely. There's nothing really too off on the color there. Here we have his sculpt, where here he's kind of like a little bit more and we like just like in this portion here where you see his uniform is kind of pressed up against him, which looks quite nice. You don't really see too much muscle there, but we do see here is like that you can kind of tell the sculpt work looks really nice when it feels like it's the uniform's quite tight on him. Here's the front portion where he has his chest open, but compared to Giorno, he has a yellow shirt underneath. Where you do see here, it actually looks really nicely sculpted as well. So here we have is the heart-shaped symbol with the anchor, and we do see here's upside down peace sign. Going around, we see here by his collar area, again nicely sculpted. We see is a little bit of his the back side of his hair there, and we have is the other side where we see the two extra hearts on the other side. So here we have is his right hand sculpt, where you see he's kind of has in a little bended position, where he's kind of has it close to his head. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like him scratching his ear. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be him scratching his ear. And I did also want to mention he does have a bonus version that does come with an exclusive arm sculpt and head sculpt. And for this standard version, you could take the figurine's arm out, but I'm not really certain why. And there's something I did notice here, that there's a blue streak on his thumb here. I'm not really certain if this was because how I took it out, because I don't really think this finger gets close to anything blue besides his hair, but his hair's resting, his hands is kind of rested a little bit more farther from his hair. So again, just be careful when you are taking these out the box, because I don't know if this was just my error or this is maybe a manufacturing error. So placing his arm right back onto his body, here we have is his facial sculpt. And all I gotta say is it actually looks really nicely painted. I think they did a pretty nice job with this figurine's face here. Everything looks actually really nicely aligned. Here's his side face. And here's his other side profile here. And just like we did with the arm, you can actually remove his head sculpt, which again, I don't really know why this was added. I guess this is so when you actually get the exclusive version, but you could do that with this regular version. So here's a closer shot by his head sculpt where you see the neck area actually looks really nicely painted. Everything actually looks really good. We can see his hairstyle there, and we can kind of see his other left profile there with a better shot without the hand being in the way. And everything actually looks really nice, from his eyes, from his nose. He has his little mouth kind of like in a annoyed posture, like he heard you, you know, making fun of his hair, which you can kind of see his hair looks absolutely amazing. Here we have his little really detailed hair sculpt. One thing I did want to mention is that this protrusion here from the back of his hair looks a little bit weird. I don't mean his hair is weird, I mean his hairstyle looks really good, but this looks a little bit off. I don't know, maybe it's because it's just a colored plastic there, so it kind of looks a little bit weird. Do be careful with that, because I kind of feel like you can flick that and kind of mess it up or damage it. But the rest of his hair sculpt looks actually really detailed. We see all these lines going across. We can kind of see a little bit of the texture work around the hair, which looks really awesome. Like his hair looks really beautiful. Here on the top portion, we do see he has like kind of like a, it looks kind of scaly, but you can see it has a certain amount of detail on the hair, which looks really nice. And we see here from this head sculpt in 360 here. Again, those two little back pieces of his hair look a little bit off, but I think the rest of his head sculpt looks actually really awesome. Overall, it actually looks really nice. So connecting the figurine head sculpts back here like this. Again, the exclusive version does come with an extra head sculpt where it's more of a standard default expression, like with a smile rather than like kind of an annoyed face. Sadly, I do not have that, so I can't really show you that arm sculpt or that head sculpt that it does come with. But I think the overall figurine looks absolutely amazing. I think they did a really nice job with his pose and the sculpt, and also the paint looks really great. So there's not really too much else to show you, so let's just move on to his other extra accessory that he comes with. So here we have is his messenger bag, because if you didn't know, he is in high school. So we do see here, it actually looks really nicely detailed. We kind of see here the bag has a lot of creases. It kind of reminds me of like a leather bag. And I think they did a pretty nice job with this. I know it's not really something you'll see have a lot of detail to it, but it actually has a lot of like really good detail on it. I think it maybe is because of the texture work they added for this leather bag. And this section here is actually flexible, which does feel like you can break it, so just be careful with that handle there, where it kind of feels like with a lot of pressure you can actually break it. The back portion here kind of feels flat. I think the front of it has more detail than this back portion here. Like all this here looks really nicely detailed. You can kind of see the creases, the belt, the little metal piece clip that connects the top flap. It actually looks really nice. And the overall paint looks actually really nice as well. The silver is really on where it's supposed to be, like another company that doesn't really align its paint good, if you've seen my other videos. Yeah, but I think they did a really nice job with this messenger bag here. It actually looks really nice. You can kind of see the clips on the side here, which obviously he holds on to rather than holding it onto his side there. But let's just connect this to his hand, where you can actually connect it to him holding it, or I think him holding it from the strap. Alright guys, so that was Sentinel's 1/8 scale PVC figure of the character Josukee Higashikata from the series JoJo no Kimio na Boken, Diamond wa砕けない, or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable. So all in all, I gotta say is I think the sculpt work and the figurine looks absolutely beautiful. Sadly, I did not get the exclusive version that comes with him in a different pose, which that one also looks really nice as well. But I think both of them look overall nice. Judging by this figurine, I think the overall sculptor looks absolutely amazing, so good job on the sculptor. The paint looks really amazing as well. Besides the little arrow where we saw on his finger, which has a little bit of a blue streak, I still don't know where that came from, and I know I didn't rub any paint, but maybe I did, I don't know, but just be careful when you are taking out of the packaging. So this is the 4th installment of their JoJo Museum line. I don't have the other ones, which is because I wasn't really too fond of the poses they have, but I did see they have an exclusive Jotaro, which I'll probably try to get, and I guess I'm gonna have to also get the other ones if I want to start collecting this line. They do have Giorno, which I do plan on getting as well, so you will, hopefully I can find where I can actually get the exclusive version, because I couldn't find this one, which is the reason why I just got this default one. But anyways guys, that's gonna be the end of this one. If you have not checked out the JoJo franchise, I highly recommend it. It's such an amazing series, and just like I said with if you've seen my older JoJo videos, never skip a part. Start from Phantom Blood, which is honestly my really favorite one, which is the reason why I got hooked on the series. So you can get all the way up to the most recent adaptation, which is Steel Ball Run. So, as I always say, always support the original creators for a set series we unbox. Thank you guys for coming to support the channel. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. No, but I mean it. Don't skip parts. Start from Phantom Blood.
Anytime I need to see a face, I just close my eyes, and I am taken to a place where your crystal mind, a magenta feeling, take a shelter in the base of my spine, straight like a chicken cherry cola. I don't need to try to explain, I just hold on tight, and if it happens again, I'ma move so silently to the arms and the lips and the face of the human kind of all that I need to, I want to. Come stand a little bit closer, breathe in and get a bit higher. You'll never know what hit you when I get to you. The kind of person who endorses a deep commitment. Getting coffee, getting perfect is what I live for. Put a look and then I smell a perfume. It's like I'm down on the floor and I don't know what I'm in for. Conversation is a time and place in the interaction of a lover and a mate at the time of talking. Using symbols, using what can be like into a deep sea diver who is swimming with the raincoat. Come stand a little bit closer, breathe in and get a bit higher. You'll never know what hit you when I get to you. I want you, I don't know if I need you, but ooh, I gotta find you. Ooh, I want you, I don't know if I need you, but ooh, I gotta find you. Anytime I need to see your face, I just close my eyes, and I'm taken to a place where your crystal mind, a magenta feeling, take up shelter in the base of my spine, just like a chicken cherry cola. I don't need to try to explain, I just hold on tight, and if it happens